Hi, welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and I am going to do a weekend reading vlog. So today is Friday, so I will be vlogging Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. So the books that I have going on right now are Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. I'm still reading through this as part of Mere Christianity May over on Krista's channel, Books and Jams. She is hosting live discussions every Sunday, so a bunch of us are reading and then joining in on the live and talking about it together. So that has been really good. I'm really enjoying this. I'm a little over halfway through and I need to do a little catching up to be all like up to date for Sunday's live show. I think I have like 30 pages I need to get read in the next couple of days. The other physical book that I'm reading right now is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. And so this book is a YA fantasy, and I really like Tracy Deonn's writing style. I feel like she really has sucked me in, and she writes in like first person present tense, which is actually kind of like my least favorite. I prefer past tense, and I do kind of like an omniscient narrator a little bit more than first person, but I usually don't like present tense, and it can be a bit jarring for me sometimes, but this book was not like that at all. I was like instantly kind of sucked in. So this is about a girl, Bree. She's 16 years old, but she's started an early college program at some college in North Carolina, I think. So I knew going into it that this was about a young college student and that she discovers magic and that there are King Arthur themes, like Knights of the Round Table and all that stuff, kind of themes going on in it. But that was pretty much all I knew. So I was kind of prepared for this to be kind of like more of a lighthearted, fun fantasy. But from the very beginning, it kind of like sucker punched me in the way that it's grappling with grief, because right in the prologue, Bree's mother tragically dies in a car accident. So we're dealing with her grief and her dealing with the aftermath of all of that, and then going away to college. And there's just like so much of this story so far that is revolving around grief. And then there are elements as well of like being Black in the South that are in there as well, although those aren't as prevalent as the theme of grief. So yeah, so there's a lot more that this book has to say than just like a fun YA, which is kind of what I thought it was going to be. I'm only 100 pages into it, so there's a few elements in here that I am a little concerned about, that I don't know. There's different directions it could take, and depending on the direction it takes, I might not really like it. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm really early into it. This book is more of a chunker than I thought it was. It's like 500 pages and I'm only like 100 pages in. So we'll see, but I really, really like Tracy Deonn's writing style a lot. And so I am enjoying reading it so far. The other book that I'm reading is an audiobook, because I have always like an audiobook going right now since I'm so busy, and it helps me get more reading in. And I think the name of it is The Deceivers. And it's book 2 in the Greystone Secrets series. The first book was called The Strangers, and I listened to that one on audio earlier this week / last week and enjoyed it, and my library had book 2, so I've started that one. And I can't really say much about book 2 because it will give away major spoilers for book 1. But book 1 is about these 3 children who they're like watching the news, and these 3 children have been kidnapped, and the 3 children have the same names as them, or like the exact same ages as them. And so they are like really perplexed by this. It's like seems like a really strange coincidence, and then their mother goes missing. And so they're trying to figure out what is going on. And now in book 2, they know kind of what's going on, at least to a certain extent, and they're trying to find their mom, basically. I really like the characters though. I like the 3 siblings. I like the relationship that they have, because I feel like sibling relationships a lot of times in media, whether it be books, TV, or whatever, there's always this element of like siblings like kind of hating each other. And I don't think that that is always true. I mean, yes, siblings fight because they live together. You know, you always see the worst of people that you live with, but that's not, I don't know, it's not necessarily the norm for siblings to not be able to stand to be with each other like at all and just think the other one's so annoying like all the time. So I like seeing a positive sibling relationship being displayed. So my daughter is at a friend's house today, so I am going to film an unhaul video because I have a whole bunch of books that I am getting rid of, getting ready to take to the thrift store. I'm gonna try to do some packing. So yeah, but I'm feeling really tired, so I think I might have a cup of coffee and do some reading first. Hello, it is Saturday and it's Saturday evening and I have done this much vlogging today, so I'm sorry. I'm kind of a slacker today. Actually, I'm kind of a slacker in general because I haven't even done any packing today. My husband's last day of work was yesterday, so we were all just kind of real chill today. We're not used to having him home. Honestly, he has been a mail carrier the past few years, and so he works like 6 days a week and isn't really home that much. So we were all just kind of chill, and he made us pancakes for breakfast, which was really sweet. And so I just kind of chilled out and worked on my bullet journal. It's just right there. It's a mess in here. Anyways, I worked on my bullet journal for June because I know I'm not gonna have very much time next week, so I went ahead and got that done. And I edited a video, and yeah, I've just been kind of chill, but I have been listening to The Deceivers and I'm really enjoying that. I'm over halfway through at this point and I like it almost as much as the first book. I think the thing that I don't like quite as much is, and this is like a super nitpicky thing. So there's 3 siblings in this story, and the oldest one is in like 6th grade, maybe 5th or 6th grade, I don't know. And there's this girl that's a year older than him, and she's part of the first book too, and she used to be part of like his like middle school, elementary school, whatever, and you know, he thought she was cute or whatever in the first book, and it just seems like that's kind of like amplified the second book. It just seems weird, and I think it seems weirder because it's a kid's book and there wasn't very much of a hint of that in the first book. So, but overall, I'm really enjoying it. And I just found out today, I don't know how I didn't pick up on this before, but the author of the book, the series, the Greystone Secret series, is the same author who wrote Just Ella and that whole series, which I really, really like and have read this year. And I don't know how I didn't make the connection before, but yeah, I really like her writing and I'm enjoying this book. I also last night read about like 100 more books and 100 more pages in the Legendborn book, and it's real weird. Which I guess like isn't all fantasy kind of weird, but I don't know, like it's very weird and very dark, and I just I'm not sure how I feel about it. I really liked it initially, and now I'm kind of like a little bit more on the fence. So we'll see, considering DNFing it. But I haven't DNF'd a book, I don't think, since like February, so it feels like a shame to do that. But when I'm running out of time to read library books because we're moving in like a week, a little over a week. It just seems like, I don't know, I want to spend my time reading the library books that I really enjoy reading. So anyways, since I have done like no packing today, I'm probably gonna do a little bit of packing / cleaning. I'm kind of like ahead of schedule on packing, which is awesome. Anyway, I think I will listen to some more of The Deceivers and do some packing / cleaning. So yesterday I got like 90% of the way through The Deceivers, so I need to finish that up today probably, because I want to know what happens and I'm really enjoying it. Although I feel like a lot of things are not going to get resolved because there's a third book afterwards, so we'll see. And then last night, Krista over at Books and Jams did like reading sprints, so I was reading Legendborn for that, and I'm like halfway through now, like 250 something pages in, and I've officially decided to DNF it. There are multiple reasons for this that I am DNFing it. One is that the magic system is super complicated. There's just like so many different terms, and there's so many different like Welsh terms that are thrown in there, and we basically learn about this magic solely through info dumps with conversations that Bree is having with people. And it's like really hard to understand a lot of it, and a lot of it just really doesn't make sense. Another reason is that I feel like this book is trying to be so many things that it gets a little convoluted. So we've got obviously the fantasy element and the magic element, but then it delves really, really deep into racism in the South, and like the history like of Black people in America, which is not a bad thing, but you've got that, and then you've got the layer of grief from Bree losing her mother, plus, you know, all these other things, romantic relationships going on, and this is going on, and that's going on, and it just feels like it doesn't know what it wants to be. It feels like it is too many things crammed in there at once, and so many of the topics are really heavy, and then there's like this extreme like darkness to the books. I'm not giving spoilers away in this part because it is on the inside flap, but I didn't read the inside flap, so I didn't know. But there is a lot of demons in this book where they're hunting demons, and so it's incredibly dark and really, really weird. I think I'm probably just done. I'm not really enjoying it anymore. It feels like it's trying really hard to be so many different things. And then there are things about like the magic system that don't make sense, that maybe they would make sense like later in the book, but even like, all right, I'm gonna get like a tiny bit spoilery here. I didn't finish the book, so I know that like I'm not giving like major plot twists away, but I will like put a timestamp so you can skip this part if you want to read this book and you don't want to know anything going in. Well, hardly anything. So there is the magic system regarding like the King Arthur stuff, and then she discovers that her mother was involved in this other type of magic. I forget what it's even called, where basically they borrow the magic from the earth, and then the Arthurians, like it's like blood magic, and like so when Bree references Legendborn to this like therapist lady who is supposed to be giving her therapy for like the grief she's walking through, but is actually like just teaching her about magic, so it's not, I don't know. But anyways, like when she mentions it to that lady, the lady's like, oh, that's blood magic because they're colonizers and they came over here, so they're reaping what they're sowing with this violence. And I'm not condoning colonization, or not a discussion I'm even trying to have. But I was just kind of like, wait a second. King Arthur and the Round Table was like in medieval times, like before there was colonization in America at all. So that magic system's not rooted in colonization of America because it was around way before that. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. It felt really weird and disjointed. And like I said, maybe it was explained in the second half of the book. This is the first book in a series, so maybe it will be explained in subsequent books, but I just, like, I wasn't enjoying it anymore, which is really a bummer because, like, I really liked the writing style. The writing style really drew me in, but then there were just all these things that were just, I don't know, like, they were really irritating me, and the more I read it, the more irritated I was. And there's, like, hardcore insta love in here. Like, meet a boy and, like, I've known you for 2 days, but I would die for you. You just met me, but you're willing to give up all these things that you, like, ran away from for me, even though we don't even really know each other. And it was just, I don't know. It had tropes that I didn't like, and it felt like it could have been a really wonderful book if it wasn't so convoluted in, like, the magic system and it being so, like, intensely, like, I felt like I had to, like, graph it. Like, it just wasn't, it felt like really high fantasy, which is not very common in YA, and the fact that then we're dealing with multiple magic systems made it that much more complex and confusing. And again, I just felt like it was trying to do so many things with tackling multiple super heavy topics, which is not a bad thing. I like it when books are like explore that kind of thing, but it felt like it was trying to explore so many things that, like, it couldn't decide, like, does it want to be a fantasy? Does it want to be a contemporary? Does it want to deal with grief? Does it want to deal with, like, ancestral trauma? Does it want to deal with racism? Does it want to deal with like, there was just so many different things that this book was throwing at me, and it just felt like too much. So I am DNFing it. I might have continued to try to read it, but like I said, I'm kind of limited in how long I have library books. So there are other books that I would rather pick up than this one. I'm also still working on Mere Christianity. I finished part 3 this morning, which is great because the live discussion is this afternoon, so I was hoping I'd finish it in time, and I did. Every section just gets better than the last. Like, I can't choose a favorite chapter, I can't choose a favorite section even, but I'm really, really enjoying it. I think the chapter on hope is one of my favorite ones that I have read so far, and it actually has a lot of quotes from C.S. Lewis in there that I had heard before, so that was kind of cool. And C.S. Lewis's snarky side came out a little bit in that chapter, and, like, he can be, like, so serious and so intense and, like, have all these great deep theological things to say, and then all of a sudden he'll just throw in something and I, like, laugh out loud because I am, like, not expecting him to say that. Like, in the chapter about hope, he's talking about heaven and people who say that they don't want to spend all their eternity playing harps, and he's saying, that's ridiculous. Like, there's nowhere in the Bible that it says that, and it's just supposed to represent, like, imagery of peace and things like that. And he said, the answer to such people is that if they cannot understand books written for grown-ups, they should not talk about them. Which I thought was hilarious. And then he talks about, like, the scriptural imagery of harps and crowns and gold and, like, what that means. And he said, people who take these symbols literally might as well think that when Christ told us to be like doves, he meant we were supposed to lay eggs. And I just, like, I was cracking up. So yeah, I am super enjoying this book. So now that I'm not reading Legendborn, I need a new book to start. So I'm kind of between these ones. I have Eugene Onegin by Alexander Pushkin, and then I have Palace of Lies by Margaret Peterson Haddix, and this is like book 3 of the series that Just Ella is in. I actually don't even remember what the series is called. I don't know. So Just Ella is the first one, and then Palace of Mirrors, which I read and I forgot to include in a wrap-up. I totally forgot to look at Goodreads, and that was my mistake. So anyways, so this is the 3rd book, so I would enjoy reading that one, but I may go for Eugene Onegin. I'm not really sure. I've never read any Pushkin, and I would really like to. So I will try to update during the day, but it's kind of like a busier day. We went to church, and right now, like, lunch is in the oven, and then I've got the live this afternoon on Krista's channel that I'm gonna be hopping on, and then I have someone that I'm like selling something through Facebook Marketplace that I have to meet, and then my husband's work wants to like meet and go out to dinner with him, which is really sweet. Okay, so I have to share this book too. I think the last time I shared a library haul, I shared this book, this Cook Once Eat All Week cookbook. You guys, this has like saved my butt the past 2 weeks. So basically you have like each week you have like some core ingredients and you prepare them, and then when you're getting ready to cook dinner, you just put those ingredients together and then you make the meal, and it's super awesome. I feel like most meal planning requires you to cook everything in advance and it takes you all day and you're just literally microwaving leftovers for the whole week, and this is not like that. So this week we've cooked 2 weeks so far. And I think I might like this second week that we did better than the first week. I'm not going in order either. There's 26 weeks and it gives you like 3 recipes, dinner recipes, and then it gives you like some supplemental ones if you want to do that, but I've just been, you know, making other things or getting food those other days. So we did week 4 the first week and then week 1 this week. So like the ingredients that we did are shredded chicken, rice, and broccoli, and I shared a clip of this. So one night we did chicken and broccoli fried rice, and then another night we did white chicken chili, and then today after church I made this barbecue chicken rice casserole. So it's like it always takes me like maybe like 2 to 3 hours to prep all the stuff, and then you put them in individual containers and then you just like put it together. So today what I had to do was I had to like have riced broccoli, which I've never had before. I've had like riced cauliflower but not riced broccoli. So I had to like cook that for just a couple minutes and then heat up the regular rice with it and add like some seasonings, and then you put it in like the pan, and then you put like chicken mixed with barbecue sauce like on top, and then you bake it, and that's it. So it's like so easy and so quick, because by the time I get to the end of the day I am like exhausted from packing all day, and I do not have time or like want to take the time to cook, because a lot of times I look at the clock and I'm like, oh no, it's 5 o'clock and I'm hungry. And so for a few weeks we were like getting just like either junk food from Walmart that was really, really quick, or we were eating out, which was not only expensive, but like I was feeling like garbage. So this cookbook has been a lifesaver. So if you have never seen it before, I got it from my library, but I did end up buying it after we used it for a couple weeks, because I think it's one that we will use again and again and again. And all the recipes have like different like swaps you can do. So everything in here I think is gluten-free, and then there's like paleo and keto substitutions, and then also dairy-free substitutions, which is awesome because I can't have dairy, and I'm a little bit like limited in how much meat I can have too. Like we were entirely plant-based in our home for probably like 4 years, and I've just recently started adding some meat back into my diet, but I can't like have a ton. So I can prepare less meat than what she has in here and substitute with like beans and lentils and stuff, and I'm only eating meat like 3 meals a week, so it's not like overwhelming. So yeah, this is an amazing cookbook and I highly recommend it. I mean, this is like, normally you're talking about books that you're reading for fun, but I had to share this one. So if you are really busy, this is like a lifesaver to make sure that your family is still, or you, if you don't have a family, you can do it for just you and a significant other, or just you, whatever. You can scale the recipes down. Everything's like super flexible and everything, but it is marvelous for when you're really busy, because it takes literally like 5 minutes to throw the ingredients together, and a lot of times you're only cooking the meal itself for like 10 or 15 minutes because everything is already like pre-cooked or ready to go or whatever. So it has been awesome, and so far we have only had one recipe that we really didn't like, and the reason we didn't like it was because some of the ingredients and like the sauce in it, and I know how to like get around that now, so I can make it again with different or less of certain things and know that it's gonna turn out better. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. So it's getting kind of late and I did not do much more reading today. I started Eugene Onegin by Pushkin, and that is all written in verse, which is something that I'm really not used to, so it's kind of throwing me for a loop. I do like it, but it's just something that I'm not used to. It's harder for me to get into. I don't read a ton of poetry, so we'll see, I guess. But I'm excited to be reading some Pushkin because I have seen him referenced in a lot of books, Russian books in particular, obviously, but like Dostoevsky referenced him a ton in The Idiot, so I'm kind of excited to be reading some Pushkin so I can kind of like have that reference there. I did not finish The Deceivers because I haven't really done very much packing today between the live and then going out to dinner and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so yeah, I will probably read some more Pushkin before bed and maybe start Palace of Mirrors, just kind of like depending on my mood. But I'm not gonna get The Deceivers done tonight because it's an audiobook and I'm not listening to an audiobook tonight. I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed early. So I may not read much more Pushkin tonight either because it's requiring me to like really use my brain because I'm not used to reading novels in verse. So I feel like to really get the full effect of it, I can't skim. So I'm kind of almost like reading it out loud in my head, if that makes sense, because it does rhyme. It's not like a free verse novel. It does rhyme. So I feel like I'm getting a more full picture and it's more beautiful that way. I guess this is kind of an unconventional reading vlog because, well, for me, out of the just a couple that I've done, because usually I'll have finished a book and talk about a book that I finished, and I did not finish any books. I DNF'd one and I'm close to finishing one, and Mere Christianity's been all month and then I started one, so it's kind of been, I guess, kind of a weird reading vlog. But my other ones have also been like 5 days long and this is only just a couple days, so that makes a difference too. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, and I would also love it if you would subscribe and then comment down below telling me what books you have been reading lately, because if you know me, you know I love not only book recommendations but talking about books. So also, if you've read any of the books that I read, I would love to chat with you about it. I know my opinions about Legendborn are very unpopular opinions, and I know some of you were excited for me to read it because you really enjoyed it, so I'm sorry that I let you down. I can see why a lot of people like it, but could have just been that it's just not the right time for me to be reading that. Maybe I'll try again at some other point because, like I said, I really do like the writing, and I really liked how she was writing grief in particular. I felt like was very powerful, the way that she was exploring that, the topics she was tackling. She was writing them really well. It just felt like it was just too much for me to follow right now, and that is probably because my brain is like insane right now. So we'll see how Pushkin goes if my brain is so insane. But anyways, yes, I would love it if you would chat with me about the books that you're reading, or if you have read any of the books that I have been reading this weekend. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.